Turning now to the deadly B-17 crash, changes need to be made when it comes to rules for vintage planes. That's according to Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Today, he is urging the FAA to take action and not wait for the crash investigation. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Mike Savino is live in Windsor Locks with Blumenthal's motivation behind this. Mike?
Well, Denise and Dennis, Blumenthal says it's not clear who decides when these vintage planes are safe to fly. He says there's standards in place for both commercial and private flights, but when it comes to these vintage planes, they seem to fall outside the rules.
This crash and other tragic crashes previously, 21 of them since 1982, directly and immediately raise questions about the adequacy of those conditions and regulations.
Senator Richard Blumenthal today questioning the safety rules for vintage planes. This, less than a week after this 1944 B-17, the 909, crashed at Bradley Airport, killing 7 and injuring several others. The senator said today that the FAA gave exemptions to Collins Institute for 10 vintage planes, including the 909. Those planes are regulated by special conditions and not by rules for passenger or commercial flights.
The question for the FAA is now whether these conditions and criteria assure sufficient safety.
Among Blumenthal's questions, what conditions are placed on other vintage planes around the country? And who decides when a maintenance issue is fixed and when a plane is safe to fly? When I reached out to the FAA today, they declined to comment, saying it will respond directly to Senator Blumenthal. The NTSB also declined to comment. Investigators with the NTSB finished their on-scene portion of their investigation Sunday, but will still take at least a year to determine a cause. Blumenthal says the FAA can't wait for the final report.
We want the FAA to act very deliberately, but very promptly.
He doesn't want the planes to be grounded, but he wants revised rules. He questioned why the plane had no black box and why some maintenance records were on the plane. Now, Blumenthal says some of the other differences include safety features like the seats and seat belts, which are different on these vintage planes versus a typical commercial plane. Coming up on Eyewitness News 6, we'll have more on this cleanup effort behind me as crews try to remove some fire suppression foam from a local brook. Reporting live from Windsor Locks, Mike Savino, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay.